Hello and welcome to the Neoprene Playmat. I'm your host, Matt Pioch, and this is Spend My Money Mondays. When we talk about how to spend my money best, we look at my budget, which is $100 per month, which will actually be getting restocked in just a couple days. Actually, is it tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. My budget will be restocked. That said, I do have quite a bit of cash laying in there right at this moment. So looks like for the Christmas season, I'll actually have a decent amount of money for myself as well, which is always a fun place to be at. So with all that said, I finally spent some money. If you guys have been watching this with regularity, you'll know that I've been kind of putting things on the back burner. So let's just hop into it. Let's look at how I spent this money. All right, so to begin with, Alien Artifacts. This might be, in my opinion, one of the most underrated games. BGG, I think, has it rated at something like a 6.7. It didn't do super hot when it first came out. You can find it pretty much anywhere for like, if it's on sale, it's like $10. If it's not on sale, it's like $25. Really, really affordable game. It came out, I think, at the $50 price point, but it hasn't necessarily retained its value, and everybody thought it was going to be a big hit, so it seems like a lot of the warehouses have a ton of stock. I personally love it. I've showed it to a lot of other people. Not everybody feels the same way I do, but all that said, Portal Games is probably, they might be my favorite publisher. And so looking, at this time, Black Friday, I'm like, who do I want to support? Who do I want my money to go to? And I'm like, well, definitely I gotta support my people over at Portal Games. So I went on and I saw that they had a Neoprene playmat for Alien Artifacts, which is kind of featured here. Sorry, that zooming in is probably not helping. Anyway, as you may or may not know, I love Neoprene playmats. I'm a big fan of this game, even though not everybody else is. I decided to go in on this playmat because it's $7.50, and I ended up having to pay shipping too, which I'm usually a fan of getting free shipping if I can find it, but shipping was $6.50, so all in $14. No big deal for a Neoprene playmat. That's really still pretty cheap. So I'm really happy about that. That was not my largest purchase though over this Black Friday weekend. So my second purchase was a game called Reykholt by Uwe Rosenberg. This was on sale at Miniature Market. So I guess before hopping into it, like I said, I like going in free shipping. I have a couple friends in my gaming group that also enjoy free shipping. So sometimes when they decide they're making an order, they reach out and they say, hey, I'm at $50 right now. Does anybody want to chip in and buy some additional games so we can get to that free shipping? We'll all get games we want. And so I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. And sometimes I just look through the sale and I find something that looks interesting. I don't do any real research on it. And then I just hope that the game delivers. Usually I end up disappointed because games that are on huge clearance sales tend to not be as well received. But that said, I was just talking about Alien Artifacts, which is a game that wasn't super well received, but that I actually thoroughly enjoy. And I think I might make an exclusive video about Alien Artifacts. Maybe Taste on Tuesday. Maybe you'll see that later this week. But regardless, sometimes it's good to just skip over the ratings and just buy something. See if it's something you like, right? And Reykholt was on sale for $24, which, I mean, even the Black Friday sale at Renegade Games, Reykholt was like $36. So I was like, I'm gonna get this. It's Uwe Rosenberg. Let's check it out. It's about greenhouses in Iceland, which, sounds intriguing. It sounds very Uwe Rosenberg. And so after I purchased it, I did a little bit more research on it. And what it is it's a worker placement. You're going to be placing on these different action spots here, but you're going to be acquiring these vegetables. And I mean, look at these trays here that come with the game. Renegade Games always does a great job producing things, so I know the production's going to be nice. But yeah, you pick these different placements, and then you're going to be getting vegetables. And there's this track that runs around the entirety of the board, and you can kind of see it over here. And on that track, there's certain vegetables that are on the table. You have to be able to serve that many vegetables to like move forward on this track. And the goal of the game is, when the game ends, to be as far as you can be on this track, and whoever's the furthest wins, I believe. I haven't done an in-depth rule read or anything yet, but that was the gist I got from a couple of the reviews that I looked over. This isn't typical Uwe Rosenberg as far as the weight goes. It's definitely in that it's one of his lighter games, which is interesting because it's not polyominoes. Typically, when I think of a light Uwe Rosenberg game, I immediately go to polyominoes. But this is a light worker placement game, so I'm hoping that Heather and I, Heather's my wife, will be able to enjoy this one as a 2-player game. The weight seems just about the highest complexity she generally likes to play, and I think just the sheer charm of these little baskets with the veggies in them and all of that will definitely make this one at least appealing to get to the table. We'll see how it is in practice. That said, another purchase I made was My City. And this one I've been hearing a lot about. This one was not on sale. I just bought it at Miniature Market's price, which was like $25. So to me, that's a steal of a game. Heather and I have been playing more Reiner Knizia lately. We talk about it all the time. We play a ton of Lost Cities. This is not anything like Lost Cities, but it's by the same designer, and it's weight-wise, it's similar weight, so I figured this one might be just a tad bit heavier than Lost Cities, but I figured this would be right up Heather's alley, and it would be in kind of both of our wheelhouse for what we like to play, and it's a legacy game. It's a family-style legacy game, so and this art on the cover is really cool, but don't be fooled, the art inside the box is not so fantastic. It's okay. First time I saw this, I was very like, really, that's the game. It doesn't really look like something I want to play. It's not pulling me in. But then I kept hearing reviews, and people were talking about how great this is. It's polyominoes, which I like polyomino placement. Isle of Cats is one of my favorite games right now. So I just figured, like, all right, I gotta try this out. Everybody's talking about how they've played through the entire campaign. And it's a legacy game, so you're putting stickers and things. But I guess in this one, there's a reverse side of each player board that is like the evergreen side, where you can play the game as many times as you want with kind of a base set of rules. It doesn't quite have the same rule set as the legacy game, because the legacy game is continually adding more and more the more games you play. Now, Heather and I have never played a legacy game. This is actually going to be our first, so I've gone through some campaign games, not a ton, but never have I played something where you're, putting stickers on the board and things like that. So I'm excited to see how this all plays out, and just how even the scoring works. It is competitive, so competitive legacy game. There's not that many out there. Charterstone's the only other one I can think of, and I've never played that either. So really excited to get this one. Glad I made this purchase here. All right, now to the stuff that's on my radar. If you watched an earlier video, I was talking about how it seems like every hype video, everything that's about kind of what to buy and what to spend your money on, heavily focuses on the Kickstarter market, which in this time there are more Kickstarter campaigns. Obviously, Kickstarter's growing. It's a place where a lot of people get their board games. But I was having a conversation with a friend, and he's like, how do you even hear about these retail games? And I was like, oh man, maybe this is something I should talk about on the channel, because there is a lot of hype around Kickstarter, and it's a good marketing machine for companies, but there are a lot of retail releases that go under the radar. And so typically what I do is I pay attention to particular publishers, as well as going to sites like Miniature Market, sites like Power to the Meeple, and just check the new releases all the time. And when something comes out that looks good, I watch a few reviews on it and see if it's something that interests me. And so I guess to start out with, a game that has recently come out, and this one I actually know nothing about, but I wanted to do just some hype on it because it is some of the best artwork I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I'm on Miniature Market's page here, so unfortunately I don't have a ton of pictures to scroll through right here, but look this game up, Kitara. The artwork is ridiculous. It's so good. Like, I want to buy the game not knowing anything about it just because of how great the artwork is. That can sometimes be the trap too, right? That said, it's published by Yellow, which tend to do lighter, sometimes middleweight games. Usually the playtime is pretty low. It's like half hour to 45 minutes for a lot of their stuff. So that said, I don't know how much of the game is a game that, not that I don't like light games, but usually when I'm doing a lot of research, it's for these games that are, I don't know, 90 minutes or things like that. Hour to 90 minutes tends to be my wheelhouse of kind of the length and complexity of games that I tend to enjoy the most. But that said, it's always good to have these fillers or these shorter games. So this one just stunning, looked great. I need to look more into it, but it's definitely on my radar. Another one that's on my radar is Paris. And now I feel like I am not doing you guys any justice because I have not researched this one either. This is on Miniature Market, but there's a couple things that immediately caught my attention with this one, and that's that it's a Kramer and Kiesling game. So these two designers, Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling, a lot of times they work together. They're the ones that like brought you Azul. They have a ton of games. I don't have the list right here, but that said, anytime they do something, Michael Kiesling is also a guy from Heaven and Ale. They've done a lot of different things, and it's Game Brewer, which is a publisher that often uses Kickstarter. I believe this was a Kickstarter game at one point, and now it's in retail, but it just looks really intriguing. The designers, the publisher, all made me perk up and say, ooh, this might be a game I need to get. I like this circular shape. It's just inviting and intriguing. These little, like, I don't know, clearly you have some form of hidden resource that you don't want people to see, or maybe it's victory points. You have these little, like, houses almost. And then there's this, archway in the middle. I love when publishers do things like this that just add to the game experience. It just looks different on the table. It looks like something that's inviting. So this is definitely one I'm going to be looking into more before I decide whether or not I'm gonna purchase it. All right. Then we have Castles of Tuscany. This is dumbing down is the wrong word. It's a lighter version of Castles of Burgundy, where he replaces the randomness of dice with the randomness of card draw. And apparently there's 2 scoring tracks, which is something you would probably only see in a Stefan Feld game. Like, he just loves scoring tracks. He loves point salads, and he loves doing these different things. And Castles of Burgundy is one of my top 20 games. I really, really enjoy it. The idea of having a lighter version of this, something that is more approachable and easier to get out. Not that Castles of Burgundy is tough by any means, but this game plays quicker as well. That's interesting to me. From what I've heard, it in no way replaces Castles of Burgundy. They're 2 totally different games, but there's clearly it's clearly visible that there's some form of inspiration here from Castles of Burgundy. And just looking at it, like with the way these hexes are laid out and the fact that you're laying down different tiles and things, looks Castle Burgundy-esque. That said, this whole track and things make it look way different than Castles of Burgundy. So, Castles of Tuscany, it's on my radar. I've heard a lot of mixed things, and I tend to like when things have mixed reviews. When everybody tells me a game is good, I imagine it's going to be subpar. It's going to be one that everybody enjoys, but it's not going to have anything captivating that really wants me to get it to the table. When a game is like, some people are saying it's great, it's absolutely magnificent, and others are saying it's complete garbage, that's when I'm like, oh man, this game is doing something interesting. It's doing something different. I need to check it out. I need to get this to the table to figure out if it sparks something in me. So that's Castles of Tuscany. All right, Curious Cargo. This one has been on my list for quite some time. I was looking at the pre-order on Capstone Games, possibly getting it, and it fits into this really weird genre. I don't know if I want it or not. I had Pipeline. I traded Pipeline away. Pipeline was a game where you have this complex tile laying system that creates an engine that essentially promotes your economy in the game. And it seemed like people that liked heavy economy games liked the economy part of it, and people that liked the tile laying aspect of Pipeline. But it was hard to get people that wanted a heavy economic game and a tile laying game. So this was just like, here, we're gonna take and make kind of a heavy tile laying game out of some of the things from Pipeline and make it different. And so that really intrigues me. And when I say heavy, it's not heavy in the sense of there's just like rules bloat. There's just tons of different things. It's not a super complex game as far as all the little fiddly things that you need to remember, but the way everything is integrated, the way everything works together, you have to think multiple steps ahead. And there's going to be these trucks that drive up next to here, and other trucks that are here, and you are sending cargo to these trucks, trying to deliver goods. It looks really, really intriguing. It's 2 players only, which I tend to like those types of games. I can already tell you this, it is way too heavy for it to be a game that Heather and I would enjoy together. But as you may have seen in one of my last videos, the things I'm thankful for, I have a coworker, Gordon, he loves a lot of these 2-player games, and it's what I think he and I would definitely love, kind of grokking out how this cargo is moved. And so that's exciting. That's this is a game that I'm like, I might be able to get this game out, and that would be intriguing. Just because it's a heavy 2-player game with not a ton of rules bloat. That just doesn't come around very often. I've heard how thinky it is. Everybody talks about how thinky it is, and are kind of blown away by that. So it continues to intrigue me. I haven't purchased it, but I keep thinking about doing so. All right. And then the last one that's new to my radar is Aquatica. It's a Dice Tower Essentials. Anytime a game is a Dice Tower Essentials, it just catches my eye because it means it's a game they've gone out of their way to put their label on. And so sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. I don't always agree with Dice Tower or their reviews, but it does bring an extra level of intrigue. It's a family engine builder, and it deals with the deep sea. It looks the artwork's really, really beautiful, really, really gorgeous. And it's one that I think too, this is another one that I feel like my wife Heather and I could play. She definitely likes wildlife and animals and things. And so anytime I can get a theme with wildlife in it and things like this, where it's, fish or anything like that, it seems to be one that we like to play together. And given that it's a family game, it's one that weight-wise I know is something she would appreciate. And so Aquatica is on my radar for that reason. All right. Now the last update. This is big. This is really big. At least it's big in my opinion. Because I've been talking about this game for like 3 or 4 months now. Cosmic Frog is officially on sale in Miniature Market. Now what does that mean? All right. So I have made an agreement, kind of. I could back out of it at any time, but I don't necessarily see the reason to do that. But I've made an agreement with Power to the Meeple that I'm going to be purchasing Cosmic Frog from them. It has not posted on their website yet, but once it does, I'll place this order. I've already paid for Alma Mater, which they're holding on to until Cosmic Frog comes in, so I get that free shipping. And so this will be coming to my doorstep soon, which it feels like it's been forever. And that's weird because it's not a Kickstarter game. It's a retail game, but it's one that I've just been so excited about. And it's almost here. I can feel it. Power to the Meeple is probably going to be posting it up in the next couple days, hopefully. And I might even have it before I have a get-together with some friends to play some games. So I'm hoping it comes in. If it comes in, then this will definitely be one that's hitting the table quite often unless it's terrible, obviously. But I have every expectation that it'll be great, and you will definitely be hearing more about it in these videos. All right. Well, that about sums it up. That's how I've been spending my money as of late. That is kind of what's on my radar, things that I'm looking to potentially purchase when I have this cosmic frog come in for this order. It also means that I might want to add on a thing or two. So Curious Cargo might be getting added on. If you've played, I would love to hear. Let me know in the comments. Is there anything on your radar that's hitting retail specifically? Instead of Kickstarter, I'm trying to get more conversation around retail games. It just doesn't seem like it happens that much without the Kickstarter buzz. And so let me know. Put it down in the comments below. Tell me what are your strategies? How do you find new games coming to retail? Do you just go to your FLGS and ask them, what's coming out and those types of things? Or do you have a different system? Board Game Geek is also a good resource I use. I didn't really touch on that today, but I'd love to hear how you're hearing about games. Other than that, this has been the Neoprene Playmat. Have a good one.